Now, let's stay on that for a bit, talking about Nigeria oil production and its role or benefits in OPEC. Let's stay on that a bit. We saw, looking a bit down the timeline to see when Nigeria actually joined OPEC. So we saw that, yeah, this is key benefit. Let's start from when Nigeria joined OPEC. I believe that was 1971. It's about 55 years now since Nigeria joined OPEC. There you have it. Oh, 1970. They applied in 1970 and became OPEC's 11th member, July 12. So we're in the month, and this month, that was yesterday, Nigeria was 55 years in OPEC as a member. Now let's see what Nigeria is supposed to benefit from being a member of OPEC. So we see the benefits include stronger oil revenue, global influence, market stability, investment confidence, technical operation, and strategic diplomacy. These are the benefits. We'll see how much of it Nigeria has actually benefited. Now, recently, on the 2nd of July, Nigeria became an associate member of IEA, that's the International Energy Agency. So official admission was on the 2nd of July, just about 2 weeks or so ago. And status is IEA association country. Historic milestone. Nigeria is the first OPEC member to join IEA as an association country. That's what we had. Now, why do we need to join this? What are the benefits we expect? Let's see the benefits of being an associate country of IEA, the benefits. So we have stronger energy security, investment attraction, stronger global voice, better policy and data, energy transition support is a very current conversation. You know, it'll be interesting to see how that supports, what form it will come, and then refining and gas development. Gas, obviously, is another major one which Nigeria has hardly tapped, you know. So these are the benefits. So let's find out from Professor Kenife. He's the lead consultant, ECOWAS Commissioner. He's also the chief promoter of biosources. Professor, good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Oh, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've seen some of the things you've written about questioning the essence of Nigeria's membership in OPEC. But first of all, let's look at 55 years of Nigeria as an OPEC member, and we saw some of those benefits that we're supposed to enjoy as a country. Would you say we have enjoyed those benefits?
I really wouldn't say that, because if OPEC, first of all, let me begin by saying that there are certain things God has given to you as a country, and you decided to waive your right to use human resource and capacity and technology to bring them to the benefit of your citizens. God gave you oil, natural gas, solid mineral, and agroecology. And all you want to do is to export that crude and import poverty. And we were exporting your jobs. And you are suffering as a country. And then the consequence of all of this is that you have 4 refineries that the military put together for you, and then they're all dead. And all that is doing is trading on crude. That is the order of the day. And then somebody says it's not right. We shouldn't continue like this. And in fact, there is one big something I call a scam, where the whole thing going on in the oil industry is told to accept it and look away to non-oil. So now that your salvation is non-oil, and that's the biggest scam in our country. Because whatever you do to this non-oil, which is only $6.1 billion a day, a year you are getting, you could go to 20 billion, 30 billion, for that is not what is going to give you $1 trillion economy. So let's move away from this shenanigan. I like the IEA because it is about the consumers of fossil fuel, where the big agenda is about clean energy. And so you're going in there to get value. You're going to see predictions on future use of the products you are going to be refining, because Nigeria is moving to refining sovereignty. We're not moving to intensify our production of crude for purposes of exporting it. Why do you export crude to China that has blocked export of refined products? Why? Invoking force majeure. And why are you being reined in by OPEC when you are doing 1.7 million barrels a day and they're telling you 1.5 and all that stuff? What's going to happen in the next 2 years? When Dangote goes to 1.4 million barrels, already Bua is heading to 200,000 barrels. $50 billion investment is going to Ondo for 500,000 barrels. NNPC is coming back to bring back 300,000 barrels into production by getting to Portland. You will be looking for 2.5 to 3 million barrels a day. And then OPEC is going to be reining you in, saying, no, you can't do more than 8. Is that what they're going to do? When your country is moving forward, according to PIA, to deliver this country and then bring low prices of product to your community and advance help us move to 1 trillion. You are still talking about OPEC that is purely about the whole thing about producing crude and not doing anything more. And I don't see the value. We just haven't got any value.
Prof, let me try to understand
how they are doing well.
Prof, let me try to understand. We've seen some of those benefits that are supposed to accrue to a member. Are you saying that Nigeria has gotten to a level where we need to go beyond those benefits? Or are you saying that in the 55 years that Nigeria has been a member of OPEC, we haven't had those benefits accrue to us as a country?
You know, when you want to join a club, you are fascinated by the concept of being a member of the club, and somewhere down the line, they make you a general secretary, and then you don't think that the world begins and stops there. And then you now see an NNPC that keeps on using the membership of OPEC. OPEC told us this, said that, to intimidate our president and officers, to tell you, no, we've got enough. It has served the purpose. And we need to move on because our country has challenged our position in the oil industry. And they decided that the way to go is to take control of our destiny and then start refining our products. And for our own benefit, anybody that exports raw material of whatever dimension doesn't get more than 10 to 15% of the value in the entire value chain of that product. So you are adding 10 to 15% of your value by exporting that raw, and you are going to borrow to pay 100% of the final product. That is the arithmetic. And then all the jobs go away, and then all that are coming back to you is poverty. And that's why you have growth. Look at what Tinubu has done. We have massive macroeconomic benefits, achievement and convergence, yet you have poverty intensifying, you have unemployment increasing. It's a disconnect. That disconnect is because of your import dependence. You're exporting crude, you're exporting raw, and you are heavily dependent on imported materials. So every conceivable macroeconomic, global macroeconomic headwind touches you because you are an importer of all kinds of things. So what I'm saying that whatever purpose it has served, is served in the past, but it does not articulate our present position. Because if you wanted me to believe that continuing membership was anything to go by, then why do you have all your four industries dead? Your refineries dead. Why is it that you are still being supplied African, they have a special blend for Africa, they call it Africa blend, which is highly notorious, substandard petroleum products being supplied to you by some imaginary refiners somewhere in Malta, wherever they are, but that's what you are consuming, which has sometimes 1,000 to 2,000 parts per million of sulfur compared to 15 parts per million of sulfur, the limit. So let's get away from this argument. We now have investors coming in here and then wanting to do imaginable things. Look at Texas, 32 refineries with 5,000 petrochemicals. That's the model that makes sense and resonates with us. Joining that IEA is fantastic because you are going to become tuning into a new agenda of a clean energy mechanism. Of course, we have gas transition as our own. So we will be talking to the future rather than to the past, romancing the past.
But Prof,
the past has always been a misery.
But Prof, some people would say that, I mean, whatever you are as a country, or you have in your hands, it's the way you approach it and what you make of it. One would say OPEC did not say Nigeria don't have refineries, don't have functioning refineries in your country. So OPEC did not stop you from growing or, you know, maximizing the potentials. Just as we're talking about gas now and the IEA, I don't think the IEA will come to Nigeria and develop the infrastructure that the country needs to maximize the potential in gas. It all boils down to what you have and what you do with what you have as a country.
Well, let me explain something to you. The OPEC what it is, it enforces, first of all, OPEC doesn't buy your oil. Neither has it supplied us. We don't supply oil to OPEC. OPEC doesn't invest in us. It's just a club. I want you to recognize that. It's a gang of certain number of countries that all they are doing is that they are reducing the supply to make the price higher, and then they increase supply when they think that it's just manipulating the price of crude. That's all that it is, nothing more. In 1974-75, America came down like a ton of bricks, and then they couldn't start fighting because they now got a deal with what they call the petrodollar. Look, we buy your dollar, let's buy and sell your crude in dollar, and we'll live in peace, and then provide protection for those Arab countries. That was the deal. And then when you use the money you will use from what you sell, proceed, then the rest gets invested in American treasury bills and all of that. And that is the arrangement that carried us to today. And you now see that arrangement is on the witness stand right now in the Iraq-Iraq war. So, and then you also seen a movement away from unipolar to multipolar. So all of that geopolitics is what this OPEC and crude supplies have placed us in. Now, Nigeria should be talking about Gulf of Guinea. Stop talking about what is going on in the Gulf of Hormuz. What is our business there? It's a crude business to talk about our own, where we are having huge refining capacity. We are having from Angola to Cameroon to Nigeria, through Equatorial Guinea to Ghana. All of that, market that, because that is the future of Africa. That is where you have both crude and gas, and you have massive refining capacity. That is where you will define Nigeria's future, and not about when Nigeria needs so much crude, somebody is raining down. And then look at investors. Who is going to come and invest? I mean, every investor in the world would like to come and drill crude in Nigeria to supply to amassing refining capacity. But who will do it when OPEC is sitting on top of you? So they will come and put billions to open new wells, and then bring crude, and OPEC will tell them, no, you can't sell. You can't do that. And then they have customers on the ground that will refine for them. We've got to get away. You know, it is not, it's a club. It has served its purpose. Now, look at why Nigeria is suffering. We're buying fuel 1,075 naira. Why? Because your price is still indexed on OPEC price. Now, look at Angola that has left. Angola now government can give their crude to their own local refiner at a price that suits their country, and they are selling their petrol $0.33 per barrel. Nigeria's own is about $0.8 per barrel. Ghana is 1.3. Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire are 1.7 liter. Our own is even lower than Ghana because Dangote is subsidizing you by 20%, that PMS. And then it has rolled out 4,000 CNG trucks to remove the cost of transportation. So he's de-risking both the transportation and the fuel storage. He has capacity for over 30 days. So he is the one making it possible. And then you have forgotten that you also have other investors coming in, and you need more investors upstream.
But
your licensing round was successful.
Prof, talking about Dangote, we know that Dangote even still imports crude because he's not been able to get sufficient stock from the domestic front. So even if Nigeria is out of OPEC and able to sell crude at cheaper price for domestic refiners, when we have domestic refiners still importing crude, isn't that a factor that will still, show at the pump?
No. Why is he importing crude? Because NNPC is not giving them enough crude. That's the problem. They give him, he has capacity for 700,000 barrels a day, and then when you give him 200,000 to 300,000, he has to import the extra. But bear in mind, when he's importing from America and all that, just recently now, UAE is now supplying him. But look at the transportation cost that has even increased because the risk premium on transportation has gone up because the war has started again. Then the risk premium on insurance has gone up. Go look at the massive cost of bringing this in and then bringing them at a price of over $100 and then having a capacity of about 30 days. So by the time he has the refining cost, which is also going up, it becomes very tight. And then the price at which he buys the Nigerian own is still the OPEC price. So, so what do you want him to do? What's he going to do? He's going to reduce the price, but it will take a little while because he has to be climbing down. That's historical cost. He has to be climbing down as new price is coming in at $75, $70 starts coming. So that is but all these situations do not need to arise if not OPEC sitting there on top of you. and breathing fire. Don't go beyond this limit. Then those who will invest upstream won't come in. Then those who are downstream, midstream, needing the crude won't get it at the price. And then it's, it's a mismatch. I think we've enjoyed it for as long as it lasted. We're going to move on. Okay,
Prof, before I let you go, there's a statement you made earlier that looking to non-oil revenue is a scam. I wonder if you could expatiate on that, especially when the economy is looking to diversify, its revenue sources.
No, let me tell you this. Look, people know, but 2 years ago, we were still in that doldrum. Just look at what has happened within 2 years. Dangote has invested over $20 billion and is doing another 20 to bring it to $40 billion, raising from 700 to 1.5 million. Look at Bua. Look at the other 50 billion coming. Look at what is going on, amassing investment in this sector. And then look at the downstream industries. Dangote can support 2,000 petrochemical industries, and that will explode. I'm just working with the National Planning Commission, looking at several industries, downstream industries, and there's so many of them. Toluene, alkyl benzene, you have propylene, ethylene, you have, name it, huge array. And all of these will stop the importation of chemicals into the country. We call them platform chemicals. And, polypropylene products, plastic, all kinds of products that will transform our country and then create jobs, huge jobs. We're talking about millions of jobs. But you can't have those. You can't have those if all the only game in town is for you to sit with 4 dead refineries and you are pouring $1 billion every year for over 10 years. And just before Tinubu came in, $3.5 billion was borrowed from Afrexim Bank. This is the story you've been having. And after burning that $3.5 billion, what did you have? Condensate. They haven't produced 1 liter of fuel. So you have to recognize that the industry there has massive potential for giving you the $1 trillion economy you're working for. And so when you now say to people, oh, look away, look away, look at what happened when the scam, importation subsidy scam. You saw what happened in subsidy scam. Yes, they are telling you, oh, look away, look away, look away. And nobody says you shouldn't look into that other downstream industries. Nobody says you shouldn't look at non-oil. We could do more with non-oil. And for you to look at non-oil, think first of all of passing that law that has been sitting with the president on minimum of 30% value addition on our raw materials. Now, the ECOWAS treaty, we ask for 30% value addition. AFCTA is even asking for 40%. Ghana is doing 50%. And see what has happened in Ghana. Under 2 years, Ghana, all their fundamentals have changed significantly. Their interest rates are in single digit. Their money exchange rate is appreciated completely. We should do that. 50% of their gold, they hold it. You do your own gold refining, take it to the central bank, to reserves, so that they can strengthen the naira. Do all that. Focus on building, adding value to what God has given you, and rather than throwing them away and importing poverty. That is the essence of where we see the bottleneck in the evolution of the industry, oil and gas industry.
Yeah, Prof, as OPEC, I mean, we're almost out of time, but a lot of people say that, the problem with Nigeria, we know all of these things, but it's the leakages. We know that we have gold, we can do what Ghana did, we can use oil even, as our main source. But the leakages is what we should actually deal with. It's not about what other people are doing to us or OPEC and any other thing like that.
Well, you see, you have Zamfara, you have all these areas where you have so many minerals. Go and put refining there. You will start capturing the value there. But if you sit down in Abuja and keep talking about leakages and all that, nothing will ever happen. If Dangote joined you and was talking about singing from the book of Lamentation, he will not make that investment that he made. So let's go and put lithium refinery in Nasarawa, lithium in Zamfara, lithium in there, and then gold there, Ilesha. Put refining everywhere that is gold, so that you don't even ask them to stop exporting raw material. The refiners there will actually give them incentive to supply them to refine. Then you go and buy the refine and go and put in our reserves.
All right, Prof.
And then see what will happen to our naira. Our naira will go back to 200 naira to $1.
All right, Prof. We'll look forward to those days. And we hope the private sector can take up these investment opportunities. Well, thank you so much, Professor Kenyife, Lead Consultant, ECOWAS Commission, and Chief Promoter at Biosources.
Thank you very much.